You need a little stop sign and a go sign.
Yeah.
You can be like, and then like a hold. Stop.
No, it's go, baby. Go, baby. It's over. It's over.
Go.
Well, I mean, you can kind of tell where I am. Can you see the feed where we're looking at Dungeon Craft?
Yeah, I'm looking at two feeds.
Yeah, so many feeds.
Yeah, D&D dumps orcs. That's literally. So
is
orcs,
that like because they're modeled after like a race of people?
No, that's the thing. They're not modeled after a race of people. And that video is actually just a good video to go watch. Mm-hmm. Long and the short of it, in early D&D, there really isn't a good descriptor of what an orc looks like. Mm-hmm. And even in Tolkien's universe, which D&D just stole most of its lore from early on, Tolkien doesn't really describe what an orc looks like. Not really. He says they have scales.
Yeah. Well,
and
they didn't describe what Gollum looked like, really. I mean, so there were, like, if you look at original pressings of what is it, The Hobbit, I mean, they had Gollum as a completely different creature.
Yeah.
And then he went back and rewrote the description of The Hobbit after the first publishing, because he's like, that is not what Gollum looked like. Gollum was very Hobbit-like.
Right. Well, and, he also continued developing his world.
Sure.
Way after the books. So people like to have this idea of mine, this Dune style, like Frank Herbert, or is that right, Frank Herbert?
Yeah, Frank Herbert.
Where he pretty much had the whole motherfucker written, right? Like he had this idea of fluid dynamics, and specifically with sand, and how sand, the way that you think about sand dunes, is actually using fluid dynamics, because sand dunes move like water, like liquid. And apparently he was just enamored with this idea, and that's kind of like the seed that started Dune. And he had all of these things worked out. Now, you would guess that as he wrote the book or the books, he would figure things out. But there's this huge mythos. It's kind of like prepackaged, from what I understand. In Lord of the Rings, it's not the case, right? Lord of the Rings, Tolkien is creating, and then long after the books, he's thinking about it and saying, you know what, this makes more sense. A notable thing is the Balrogs. I want to say in the Silmarillion, I'm gonna be wrong about this. I can just say the two elements. I don't know which one comes first, but there was a point where there were only like 7 Balrogs. There were only a few of them, and then there was a point where Balrogs were just all over the place.
Yeah,
lots of Balrogs, and it's opposing ideas. One of the elves, I forget, the Gil-galad or whatever his name is, kills some Balrogs and dies in so doing. And people are like, oh, wow, that guy is a great warrior because he was able to take down one of the major Balrogs or whatever.
My point is that Tolkien they were Maya, weren't they? Oh, wow. I picked the wrong.
It's a question.
They were basically... they were basically the same thing Gandalf was.
Similar to, yeah. Sort of like sub-angel.
I wonder if it's like a dragon in D&D that could turn into a human if they wanted to, or even like Sauron, who could change shape until he was, crippled.
Well, there's order. One of the ideas with Tolkien's universe is authority, and arguably the whole thing is about how domination is bad, right? So it's coming out of World War I.
Yeah,
to dominate the free peoples is bad.
Sure.
Right? And it lessens you as you do so. So everything is about authority. Sauron is not a fighter. That's not his authority. right? Like a Balrog is. So in Gandalf, for example, Gandalf's super powerful, but like Gandalf the Grey, could not take Saruman the White because of authority. You know, it's not necessarily that Sauron was more powerful in like he could like shoot fireballs or something like that were hotter. It's that he had the authority over Gandalf. And in the books, there's no fight. Saruman just says, you can't leave. And Gandalf can't.
Sauron
like,
regained.
He just says it. There's no like wizard duel. Because that was one of the big criticisms of that scene is people that were all about Tolkien were like, wizards would never do that.
Yeah, the door's shut. Well, I mean, but Gandalf later said, you're not going to pass. You shall not pass.
It's arguably a trick, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like he says, you can't pass so that, because he's crafty, because he knows the Balrog will try, and he's cracked the bridge.
Right. But I think you say a lot when you said, you know, when he shuts the door on Gandalf. Clearly, at this moment in time, Gandalf. But Gandalf got a big power upgrade.
Well, he was given the authority
when he died.
Of Gandalf.
I mean, just like Jesus.
Yeah. Right. Whereas I think a lot of people they interpret these things justifiably as D&D, where you level up. Yeah. Right? It's like, oh, well, I have a higher level. Like Saruman is like level 16, and 16. Gandalf's like 12.
Yeah.
I don't really think of it like that. I don't really think of it like that.
Yeah, I don't think about it either. I mean, but they were both Maya, and Saruman, he was never meant to lead, but he took the leadership, and he exploited all of the means and peered deep into knowledge, and that was his apparent flaw, which I think goes against what reality is when the more you know, the more you're kind of into, the more you delve into the like
delving too deep type stuff, too greedily.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the same thing with the dwarves in Tolkien world, but I think in our world, having more knowledge and having more capacity to learn and having more materials around us to build us up and privilege allows for more success. Whereas in Tolkien world, it's kind of different. The more you study, the less successful you are.
Well, it's not that. So Saruman, I forget his actual name. They all have different names.
Yeah.
When they're in the Undying Lands, but
Maya.
He wanted to lead, and he's the greatest of them. Is the thing. He's one of the wisest. He's one of the most powerful and capable. Saruman the White is the best one. And that's why he becomes Saruman the White and leads the Istari. The thing is, he wanted to do it. Like, there's this whole idea with Saruman from the very way before they come to the Middle Earth that he's kind of jealous of Gandalf. Because Gandalf is afraid to go to Middle Earth. He doesn't think that he's worthy of it. And people kind of like shower Gandalf with this, you know, these accolades of saying, wow, this guy is actually pious. Like he's actually a good person. And Saruman is a little jealous. That's sort of the feeling.
The piety is kind of the theme of why that is. It's the piety that gave him success. It's his weakness, or his perceived weakness is the only reason that they won the whole dang thing anyway.
Gandalf does not want to dominate people. Saruman does.
Yeah.
Like, So if you go to like deep lore, Morgoth, like the bad guy.
Yeah.
What Morgoth is the greatest of the Vala, hands down, and like even greater than his like twin brother, whose name I can't remember. It's like Manwë or something, like way greater.
I thought Manwë was like the creator. Am I wrong about that?
No, Eru Iluvatar is the creator.
Yeah, so like, but Manwë was like just shy of that.
I can't. So Morgoth.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, Morgoth is the greatest.
Yeah.
Like, 100%.
Yeah, he changed the tune. He was the one.
But that's what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be discord. He is the destroyer, which is unnatural. He's like, is it Vishnu? Is that right?
Vishnu is like India.
Yeah. It's like the destroyer. I can't remember.
With the different.
There's
hands,
a certain number of.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember. Point is, Melkor at the time, he puts himself into the world as a physical being and seeds himself much of his power into Arda. And in that way, there is quote unquote evil in the world that will always be. But because he dominated, he used so much of his power doing that, he became so much lesser.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that when he's finally caught, chained, and thrown into the void, the other Vala are astounded at how weak he is. Even though like his essence is technically eternal now, he's traded it for that domination. That's the whole fundamental thing. Sauron it's like cutting part of yourself off every time you do these bad things and try to dominate people. And you become less and less and less and less as you become more powerful.